Mm. Yes. We are ready. Do you have the theme? Oh, okay. All right, no problem. I'm with you. All right. Yeah, outstanding. Good afternoon and welcome once again to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org. My name is Carl Boyd. I am honored to host Wave Your Grades a Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. on KUAW.org, emanating from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center in Kansas City, Missouri. As you join, you will see the likeness of Louis George Walker, founder of KUAW.org. KUAW stands for knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And each Saturday, we must say thank you, Louis George Walker, for allowing us at this time from 1 until 2 p.m. on Saturdays. Today, we have a very special guest, and Brother Walker, you and I are witnessing the confluence of two celebrations on this particular single day. We are approaching the end of Black History Month, which obviously doesn't mean the end of Black history, but we are also celebrating the veterans of foreign wars. And so we have as our very special guest Gerald Caldwell, former commander of VFW Post 8100, and we anticipate that we will be able to speak also with his special guest, Warrant Officer Ben Anderson. First, thank you for being here and welcome, Mr. Gerald Caldwell.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. And we're happy to be here.
Thank you. It makes eminent sense to say Mr. Boyd or Carl Boyd. I am a civilian, but in my introduction of Gerald Caldwell, what would be the proper nomenclature?
Oh, right now my position is I'm judge advocate for the VFW Post 8100 in Grandview, Missouri.
Outstanding. Thank you. How long have you been with VFW and how long in Grandview?
Oh, I've probably been with VFW probably close to 20 years.
Wow.
But I wasn't able to participate until fully until I retired 10 years ago.
Okay. And by the way, for those who are viewing and listening to Wave Your Grades, Mr. Louis George Walker may have occasion to interrupt to let us know that we have the other gentleman on the line. But we, Brother Walker, will just go ahead with talking to Gerald Caldwell. And so it is when I think about VFW being a civilian. Brother Caldwell, how many times on our radio program have we had the occasion to say that for many young people and many who are in the Black community, VFW creates a picture of old white men smoking cigars on weekends and playing bingo. As an African American officer and recurring officer with VFW, have there been some instances where color has mattered in VFW? as far as Black history is concerned?
Well, of course it has. We'll the post where I'm at 8100 was predominantly a white post,
Yes,
mostly white men in the all of the positions there and everything. And as they got older and demised, well, then we were able to come in, and we still have some good white BFW members there, and they're very helpful too. And but we are able to come in and learn the different positions, and able to learn how the community aspect of that work. And I think the community has accepted us pretty much so, because
yes,
we do have our bingo and things like that uh, going, and at our post there, but because of the pandemic, it's stopped right now. But most of our bingo players are 90% white, so they still
yes.
they're still giving us good support, good support for that BFW post. So we appreciate them doing that too.
Now, our Wave Your Grades program is sponsored by Stoots for Boots, which is American students striving for excellence in honor of our troops. At the time that we started in 2014, you allowed me to have my book signing at VFW Post 8100. You at that time were commander. Before then, how many Black commanders had there been at VFW Post 8100?
There wasn't any before that. I'm the first one to come in as commander.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
First one to come in as a Black commander. Yes, and I stayed there 3 years in that position, and we achieved All American 3 years in a row.
Outstanding. And by the way, you are succeeded by whom? We now have another Black commander, I think.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
I heard about him.
And one of the things that we like to do on KUAW, in as much as it does originate at a learning center, the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and in as much as we're asking students to strive for excellence, we would really like for them to learn with each program. And so here on Wave Your Grades, featuring Judge Advocate Post 8100 VFW, Gerald Caldwell, in the very simplest of terms, for young people who may just be getting acquainted with us, how would you define veterans of foreign wars?
We are an organization of veterans who have been on foreign soil fighting the wars for American rights and rights of other nations too. And we are here in the United States, and if you haven't fought a foreign war, you can't be a member of the Veterans of Foreign War. But we are very much community orientated.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
We want people to know about the VFW. So
and
we try to work the community. We try to do things with the community, let them know that we're here for them.
Well, let me tell you, at a very personal level, you have certainly worked with Stoots for Boots, and we have been privileged to work with VFW Post 8100, for instance, with the print shop at De La Salle, which an educational institution. I think you also have essay contests or something like that for young people.
Yes, we do. We have the Voice of Democracy contest, and we have the Patriot Pen contest for the Patriot Pen for the elementary, and Voice of Democracy for the high school students. And we did have a #1 winner for our Voice of Democracy, and we carried that on over to the district. And our district did very well. They placed 3rd statewide
Oh,
in
okay.
the essay contest, and I thought that was really good to get us up that high.
When you say our district, are you talking about Grandview schools?
No, we are talking about District 5 with the VFW, Veterans
Oh,
of
I
Foreign
see.
War.
Oh, yes.
Hmm.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have 12 other posts in that district besides ours.
Now, interestingly enough, you may or may not remember that the foreword to my book, Academic Patriotism, was written by Carl Tate Jr.,
Okay.
who was he District 5 commander, or he definitely had a District 5 office?
Yes, he was commander at that one time there, and
Yes,
he's probably been commander over there a couple of times there. He's very nice guy.
absolutely. Very nice guy. And I was wondering how strict veterans of foreign wars would be as it relates to membership. So, if you don't mind just letting us know a little personal history, where are some of the places Gerald Caldwell has served?
Yes, well, we started out there in California, there in Oxnard, California. That's where our training started. For I was with the U.S. Navy Seabees, and
Wow.
we was a construction battalion, and we started there with the water purification and all kind of waterworks in my classification, and that was a good deal. And then they sent me down to Gulfport, Mississippi, where I joined a battalion down there, and from that battalion, 800 men in a battalion, and from there we went to Vietnam first time. Went to Vietnam the first time, and we served over there, did a job, and we come back for 4 or 5 months and went to Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, for retraining for Vietnam, and then we headed back to Vietnam again. So
Oh,
we were in Vietnam twice, and that's what. Besides the pick and the shovel, we had an M16 rifle on our back too every
yes,
time
sir.
we went out. So we had an interesting career there, and we appreciate that.
Yes, indeed. And by the way, in all of these years, and I must always offer the disclaimer, I am a civilian. I am honored to be able, hopefully, to pay proper tribute to those who have served and those who are serving.
Mm.
In all of these years, Gerald Caldwell, today is the first day that I learned what CBs stands for. Now, you said construction battalion. Is that what it stands for, or that's just one of the things it stands for?
Yes, that's what it stands for.
Wow.
We have a lot of other acronyms, but that's exactly what it stands for, Construction Battalion.
Now, when I think about some of those whom I have met who are veterans, they have gone through quite a bit, not only serving, but post career as well. So,
Mhm.
among the things that the VFW does, I suspect, is help those who have been discharged with psychological disorders as well as reorientation to the workforce and getting back to family and all of that. How are your colleagues faring after all they've been through, facing life post career, and now we have a pandemic? It sounds formidable to me. Two questions here are how they might be doing in the face of all of this. And an important question to me is how can we, who are civilians, be more supportive?
Yes, we are. Uh, Number one is during this pandemic, it's really slowed us all down. And
Now, is that Brother Anderson?
no,
Oh,
that's not
okay,
Brother
good.
Anderson. I
I
can't.
see.
Yeah, doing the pandemic, it is always all of us have a heavy burden on us,
Yes.
and even our post here, we had a little catastrophe here during
Oh,
the cold weather, where the roving blackouts
yes.
uh, came on our post there, and we was off somewhere between 3 and 6 hours, and they busted the water pipes at our building. And so we are struggling now, trying to get our building back together. We got the pipes fixed, but a lot of installation, a lot of damage it was done. We're working with that, and we have had some people contribute to the to funds to help us to try to get that together. Some of the other VFW posts have donated to help us to try to get our damages together. So we are working with that. But all in all, we're trying to get our shots and trying to let the community know that we have our shots, and we want to continue to be in business there.
Absolutely.
Once we get things together again.
Now, Judge Advocate Gerald Caldwell, please let our viewers and listeners know how we might support or where we might send the donations.
Yes, you may send that to VFW Post 8100, Grandview, Missouri 64030, and the post office box is 256.
I see.
And if you would do that, we would very well appreciate it. And we are a 501(c), so you'll be able to take your tax deductions for that too.
Absolutely. And simply say VFW, Post 8100, Post Office Box 256, Grandview, Missouri 64030.
Yes.
And that check, money order, whatever it might be, can simply be made out to Grandview VFW.
Grandview VFW, and we would take care of it from there.
Outstanding.
And now, we will reply to you too, and let you know that.
Good, very good, because you are so helpful in the community in so many ways. While I'm talking about how they can do that, let us also talk about how they can contact Gerald Caldwell or VFW for speaking engagements. You know, you and I have visited Paseo High School, for instance, to speak to students. If schools want you to speak, how do they contact you for that?
Yes, they can contact through the VFW Post 8100 in Grandview, Missouri, or they could call me on my cell phone, area code 816-589-8825. If I don't answer that, just leave a message so that I can get back with you. Then we know that the call is legitimate. You know, all of us receive those kind of calls that we wish we knew who they were, but we don't. So if they leave a message though, and I will get back with them promptly and return their call.
I certainly know that to be true. So indeed, 816-589-8825. We're speaking with Gerald Caldwell, VFW Post 8100 in Grandview, Missouri, talking about VFW history, and in what ways, not just here, but just across the nation or wherever, are VFW posts celebrating or observing? Is it the birth date of VFW or something like that that's being celebrated?
It's the 25 year of the foundation of the VFW.
Okay.
And that's with the service officers and things like that, where veterans can put their claims in for problems that they had in service, things that are service related, and maybe they could be compensated for that. But I also have a list of facts, current facts here about Black military officer of all of the officers, including the VFW.
Yes.
And other branches of service, all the branches of service. The number one is in honor of Black History Month. We have 215 million Black military veterans nationwide.
Hold on. Say that again, please.
2.15 million Black military veterans nationwide serving right now.
My Lord.
And we have 30.2% of active duty enlisted women in 2016 who were active, who were African Americans in 2016. That's a number that surprised me, it really did.
Yes, sir.
17.1% of active duty enlisted men in 2016 were African Americans. 17.1%. That percentage really shocked me. I thought it was less than that, but that's pretty good too.
Yes, sir.
And then we have 20,000 plus Black Marine Corps recruits who received training at Montfort Port Camp in North Carolina during World War II. That had to be a place where they were training quite a few African Americans at.
Yes.
And then the African Americans who received the Medal of Honor for action during the Vietnam War, we have 7,243 African Americans who received that award. And then we have over 7,000 deaths of active duty Black servicemen in Vietnam.
Yes.
And 3,075 deaths of active duty Black servicemen in the Korean War.
Yes. And
901,000 African Americans who served during World War II, and 24% of the 500,000 U.S. military personnel deployed in the Middle East during the Persian Gulf War who were African American. 24% of that. That's an astounding number there. And then we have 350,000 Black soldiers who served in American Expeditionary Forces units in the Western Front in World War I. So we've been pretty active on all the wars. We've been represented really well.
When you say 2.15 million,
yes,
that is significant, obviously, to say the least.
Yes.
And then bringing it up to date from all of those who have served since Crispus Attucks.
Yes, yes.
And then the term 24%, when you think that Black people are 12% of the population, that's twice the national norm.
Right.
Of those who are serving. Let me ask you, by the way, reminding those who are viewing and listening that you are hearing from Gerald Caldwell, member of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, or VFW, first Black commander of VFW 8100 in Grandview, currently serving as judge advocate, Gerald Caldwell.
Yes.
There have been occasions upon which I have talked about patriotism, not just from a Black perspective, but patriotism in the United States of America based upon how Black people have served since arriving here. When that discussion is brought up to Gerald Caldwell, how do you help young people, young Black people in particular, appreciate the word patriotism in these United States?
Well, most of our essays are on patriotism.
Yes, sir.
And we try to cater our theme to that, so that those that young people that write and those who look at this theme will kind of explore that and kind of get an idea of what patriotism means as far as the United States is concerned, as far as serving, as far as community work, which is part of patriotism too, is community work too. So we try to get them to really understand, and that there are benefits to that too, for after service with your college education and things like that, which is money.
Yes.
that you don't have to pay once you go in and you serve, do some time in service and come back out. You can get your degree through that, which you don't have to pay for. Uncle Sam will take care of that cost for you. And other things, the housing and things like that, that you can get a leg up on those things and get go towards reaching your goals or trying to get to your goals. They will help you do that for stopping and spending some time with Uncle Sam. So we try to accentuate those benefits, what you can do and how you can do them, and so that you be able to get on top of the well, I should say, don't get on top of your game, but get on top of the program. Everybody's trying to be successful,
Absolutely.
and those things help you to be successful.
As a matter of fact, as you speak of those and mention the word benefits, I have learned because of my association with you, because of my association with Rebecca Bradley and others, um, Sydney Malone and
yes,
others. When you talk about benefits, will you help our viewer listeners to appreciate benefits that go to family members as well?
Yes. Quite a bit of that, as you get your degrees or whatever, the monetary value of those deals goes over into the family. But also, if you retire from that, your spouse get to benefit even when you're gone, still receives a benefit from Uncle Sam in the form of a paycheck and other medical type benefits that was received by the veterans. They can still draw those benefits down, and they have a lot of other things for children to go to school and for other very important programs. Then parks and recreation and things. Those things they don't have to pay for those to get on those park and recreations deals. They don't have to pay for them. They don't have to go the golfing, the camping, fishing, and those attributes. Uncle Sam would help them bear the burdens on that. And when you got children, that really helps to let them know they don't have to hang on the street corner here. They can go fishing and rowing and camping and they can learn some other things out there that very helpful to them.
Thank you very much. We're listening to the voice of Gerald Caldwell. I saw Brother Walker turn around. I didn't know whether you had something for us. We're at the halfway point of the program where we take our station break, as it were. Anything from Louis George Walker? Okay. Thank you very much. And this is my weekly question of Louis George Walker. Please let our viewer listeners know the ways that they can access the program. And if you would like, maybe even highlight some of the programs that we have on KUAW.org.
Well, okay. Let's see.
Right.
Thank you so very much. And Louis George Walker hosts what program?
All right.
Yes, I do the BFTAA and more show, which is double duty. Then
That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so very, very much. And this is Wave Your Grades, KUAW.org, emanating from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. My name is Carl Boyd. I'm your host Saturdays from 1 until 2 p.m. And we have our very special guest, Brother Gerald Caldwell, Judge Advocate, VFW Post 8100, discussing two events, if you will, but events makes it sound like one day. It's actually two very important programs, Black History and the VFW. And Brother Caldwell, when I think about all of the data you shared with us as it relates to Black participation in the armed services, this is what I'm reminded of, and see if you are reminded of it also. Wanda and I were in Arizona. We returned to Kansas City in 2010. By the time I had written my book, Gerald Caldwell and I had something of a reunion that immediately brought up the name of the Reverend Mac Charles Jones.
Yes, yes.
And we were sharing a little history together. Let me set up my next question this way, Brother Caldwell. February 23rd, 1985, there was a very special meeting at Zion Grove Missionary Baptist Church that was convened by Reverend Mac Charles Jones and spawned the organization, the Black Community Coalition. It brought together Black people in education, politics, religion, economics, the social sphere, all coming together to look at promoting the betterment of Black causes in the greater Kansas City area. Now, with that setup and understanding what we were looking at back in those days, when you see movements that we are observing worldwide now, how do you juxtapose what we're attempting now against what we were trying to get done back in the day?
Yeah.
Are you optimistic? Are you yet satisfied? How would you compare those eras?
Well, the Reverend Dr. Mac Charles Jones was a very prolific minister,
Yes.
community man. Also, he tried to get the gangs and things together.
That's right.
They did meet down there at St. Stephen. We had Indians down there beating drums down there. They come together down there and had a really good time and no problems whatsoever. They thought people thought that people would come to town from all of those different states and we'd have problems. They would bet on. In fact, but I think the police had little problems with it. They probably had less crime that weekend than they had any time.
Exactly.
And we were very pleased with that. It was well received. Our church was full. I mean, and we had to set out extra chairs and everything because of the amount of people that were there and the diversity of the people were there from all walks, from the Latinos, the Indians, the Blacks. Everybody wanted to be represented and were represented because Dr. Jones made sure that they was represented. And that was one of the reasons why he had that type of seminar here in town. And our news media thought that he was asking for trouble when he invited them, but they covered it and was no trouble. And we were all glad that they did this and everybody got a chance to learn a little bit about it. Other people, other cultures and things like that. So I think it was very nice that went off and God bless Dr. Mack is resting in peace, but God bless his soul for carrying that on. I'm sure that a lot of that good nature deal is still here. Those cultures are still here for that.
You know, I am so glad that you reminded us of the kind of occasion it was and who was represented.
Yes.
There were some people who were talking about the gang summit,
Yes.
and Reverend Mac Charles Jones and Gerald Caldwell and others were referring to it as the Urban Peace and Justice Summit.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was about peace. It was about bringing people together.
Bringing people together.
And when I think now about Reverend Mac Charles Jones, Reverend Wallace Hartsfield Sr.,
Yes.
Reverend Nelson Fuzzy Thompson,
Yes.
Reverend Johnson, those who in the faith community were leading that movement, and people like Charles Hasley from the political community and Fred Curls and others. I think about leaders today. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s book was titled, Where Do We Go From Here?
Where do we go from here?
And when we think about those who have served valiantly,
Mm-hmm.
and the numbers you represented who are currently serving, who
Mm-hmm.
are indeed Black veterans, male and female,
Yes. Male and female.
Hispanic veterans, Native American veterans, all of those who come together, how do you think they view where we are now? Optimistic, a little skeptical, pessimistic? Where are we now in our mindset in the United States of America and direction that we're going?
Well, I tell you, it really takes some looking back over the last few months and weeks and what we have going on now, and the mindset is very different, and our what people. Some of our politicians are trying to do as far as our voting and things are concerned. We don't have time to waste. We're going to have to be about voting. We're going to have to be about community work. We're going to have to be about trying to let people know that we're not going back anyplace. We're going to be right here with the nation's forefront. And as you were mentioning in that summit, you mentioned all those leaders, but you forgot to mention yourself, because Dr. Mac Charles Jones was very adamant about KUAW Board being with all of this because of your status as a radio announcer and a very prolific radio announcer. He was very concerned that we include you in whatever we did because you could convey that message and convey it in a very nice way. And you're still able to do that right now. I think you've grown even better at that. That's really nice.
You are and always have been very kind to me. I appreciate that. And I don't want to appear falsely modest, but I mean it when I say that the credibility I have enjoyed has been based upon the people I have met.
Yes.
So if I think about when I did have a program for teenagers on the radio, so often people would tune in to hear who was on with me.
Yeah.
It wasn't my being allowed to do a monologue, but today would reflect precisely what I was attempting to do then, and that is to get credible guests. Today we have Gerald Caldwell with important information. You have given us the data where Black history is concerned and those who have served meritoriously, yes, Black men and Black women. The way to contact you and better themselves, believe me, it enhances my credibility to be able to say Gerald Caldwell was on. Contact 816-589-8825. So, but I do indeed thank you so very much. Here's something that I wanted to do and would certainly defer to Warrant Officer Ben Anderson had he been on, and therefore I deferred the question. But now we do have a few minutes where I can ask of Gerald Caldwell. Again, I want to set up the question. Many of the young people who see and hear you, and when you talk about being a Vietnam veteran, view your posture, your status, your stature as if you are always this adult person that you are. But you were once in high school, you were in elementary school, you
Yes.
had a background, and somebody inspired you. Tell us something about Gerald Caldwell, the young person, pre military service.
Yeah. So, well, you know, I was, my father was a preacher and a Baptist preacher at that.
Yes,
So
sir.
we had a lot to be concerned with as far as our attitude and things that we did. And people would always remind me that I was a son of a Baptist preacher. So we had to kind of walk that road a little bit.
Yes, sir.
But we did real well there, and I really didn't branch out much until I got to the United States Navy,
Wow.
where that I found out the opportunities that was afforded. A lot of the uh, white people was afforded to us too. You just had to be in the right place, the right time to get them. And from there, my knowledge and my education it exploded there with the Navy and with the other people there. I had a sergeant there that was in my boot camp, and when I finished, and he said, "Well, what are you going to do now?" I said, "Well, we're going to go back to the station here, and then we're going to see what the Navy has for me." He said, "Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to give credence to Martin Luther King." And I looked at him and I say, I know he didn't say that, but he did. But my drill sergeant told me that,
Is
and
that right?
yeah, I didn't think he cared anything about black folk, but he told me the first thing I should do was give credence to Martin Luther King. So, and also I'd like to just put this in when you spoke at Paseo High School.
Yes, sir.
And you made that the speech there, and you brought in your rap. You bought a rap, and you bought your own player with you too, and
Yes,
put the
sir.
mic down there, and you did your rap. And I wasn't there, but I happened to tune in, and somebody, one of the children had to put it on the students had to put it on the internet, and they said must watch.
Oh
They
no,
had right before KUAW say you must watch this. Say you must watch this,
my
and
lord.
you did the rap there, and I mean you had everybody's 500 students in there. You had all of them's attention with that, and I thought that and the words that you were saying were really
Thank you.
really good words. They wasn't. They were words that the students were relating to too. And I
Thank
say
you.
about not being a snitch and things. And you had this memorized. You wasn't looking at a paper. I mean, you were actually rapping, and that was really nice. And it was good to see how many of those students, 500 of them there, paid attention to you, and every one of them had their eyes on you.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I will tell you how gratified I was that the students were
Yes.
so receptive. But
Okay.
Brother Lewis George Walker, I would like to say that Gerald Caldwell is talking to the right two people in that you and I are sometimes surprised, not shocked, but sometimes surprised at how mature the young people with whom we work are. And when you talk about the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and the robotics team and the young people aspiring to go national and in some cases international, Brother Walker, just say what you think about young Black potential in 2021. And I'll tell you, Brother Caldwell,
Mhm.
as it relates to what you were talking about, don't forget when you appeared before those young people at their assembly programs more than once,
Mhm.
how they responded to you, how they paid attention. And Brother Walker, prior to Brother Caldwell's presentation,
Mhm.
and others like Diane Charity, some others, we might have thought that young people don't think in terms of patriotism.
Yes, they do.
But Brother Caldwell, you have to admit that the way they received yours and other veterans' presentations were uh, was the way that they received it was really enthusiastic, and Sherry Yoder, the sponsor of the group,
Yes.
is really pleased to have you there.
Yes, and your group, you had so many students sign up for your Waive Your Grades
Yes, sir.
program that you had. I mean, quite a few of them come right down there and signed up with you that day we was over there. So I
Yeah.
thought that was really impressive.
But it really helps me to understand that we should not be reluctant to introduce the subject of patriotism. Oh, by the way, now I know that Brother Walker, honoring us to be producer and engineer and all of that on the program, but would like to ask Brother Walker a question as it relates to 5501 Cleveland. How long you have been working on developing a KUAW radio station, and how you feel about the response of young people, not just our peers, but young people to what you are doing. And how long have you been doing this? Yes, sir.
Well, I think I started volunteering. Uh,
Their response. What is Brother Tyrone doing now? And it might be one or two others as well, where the young people's academic involvement is. That is outstanding to say the least. Let me turn the conversation back over to Brother Gerald Caldwell. And once again, we generally try to do it more than once in the program as far as contact information is concerned. And if you know uh, the dates of the next essay contest, will you share that with us as well, Brother Gerald Caldwell?
Yes, we start a new year in June, and that essay will be sent out in August, and it has to be in by October. They have not set the theme of the essay. They have not set that yet, but we will be getting back when I'm sure that I'll be communicating this information to Mr. KUAW Board there, and sometime he have a chance to squeeze this in on some of the other shows that he have a little bit later on. But we will be getting that information out because there's cash prizes for that too. So you know all the way down to first, second, and third places. We do try to help the students out with the little cash there for their effort producing a good paper like that.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we do have a donation for Mr. Walker here. I have to find out what his address is, but Mr. Boyd said something about 501 something, but I'll get that from Mr. Boyd and send that. I'll send that to you today. I get that address. But I do have just a brief tidbit here about the Tuskegee Airmen. They say before the Tuskegee Airmen, there were no Black pilots in the United States military. And they were formed in 1941. And that squadron was made up of 429 enlisted men and 47 officers. I didn't think they had that many, but they did. And they trained at Morton Field there in Tuskegee. And they named it, that's why they named them the Tuskegee Airmen. And I had that information, and I support that group. And they sent me a booklet on their information here for this month here. And,
wow.
Very impressive statistics that they have.
Well, we would certainly like to call upon you to put us in contact with guests from the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes, we have some here. Yes, we will. In fact, about it, we have some here that would, I will get in touch with you, Mr. Boyd. It would very interesting facts that they have, how they started and the things that they went through. And of course, the Red Tail movie.
That's right.
May have projected a lot there. And I watched that movie and watched it a couple of times there to see what they went through. So, but we are in contact with people here with some of them. But I do donate to the national organization.
That's outstanding. Brother Walker, you will appreciate that W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center was doing a series, Voices of Our Elders. I don't remember. Do you remember the title of that series? That's exactly right.
Yeah, Leon.
Now, the only one that I can find, I'm praying that I have two that they allowed me to do, but they allowed me to interview Dr. Jeremiah Cameron and Brother Caldwell, Colonel Charles McGee, Tuskegee Airmen. And that's been more than 20 years ago, because it was before one that I moved to Arizona.
Okay.
But I have to find that video. That's such an honor.
Yes.
Yeah,
so,
if you can find it, definitely. I'd like to digitize them so that we can preserve them even more, because the videotapes is getting to where you can't find the VHS no more to play them on.
That's right. That's right. That's correct.
I went to the Goodwill and bought a VHS there because I'm trying to do some of my home tapes and get them onto the computer, because I said I can't play them on nothing.
Wow, my goodness gracious.
And I went to the store and I found out online there's not a manufacturer of a VHS player left. Nobody's making none.
All right.
Can you imagine going to Best Buy and trying to pick up a VHS player? And how the young people would look at you when you asked.
All right.
We are coming to the end of the program. Want to make sure that all have the opportunity to make remarks that we might have neglected. I used to refer to them as parking lot remarks. You get out to the parking lot and say, "Oh, I forgot to say," whatever it might be. Gerald Caldwell, very special guest, former commander, BFW Post 8100, Grandview, Missouri, judge advocate, any final remarks before we close.
Uh, I'd just like to say, Mr. Boyd, I'm very honored to have been on the show and say a few things about the VFW, which I'm a member of, and
Yes,
I
sir.
really take that membership seriously, and I take the work that I do seriously with the VFW, and we appreciate you giving us an avenue to reach a larger audience, along with Mr. George Walker there,
Yes.
who's able to provide us with the technical expertise we need to get that information out. And we will hear, I hear people all the time saying that you heard me on the KUAW show. I said, well, that's good. I said, that's a good show to hear me on. And we are very pleased that you have us on there. Very pleased that the VFW, you pay attention to the VFW. You give us an avenue to get our word out, and maybe the younger people, when they quit working, they can come join us, and help
I
out.
hope so. I hope
Yes.
so, and cannot thank you enough for the kindness, but also for the information that you give.
Yeah.
Judge Advocate Gerald Caldwell, VFW, Grandview, Missouri. Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. And if Mr. Walker would give me his address, I would send him something today.
Out there. That's outstanding, and therefore I shall indeed offer. And by the way, Brother Caldwell, you've heard me do this before, as has Louis George Walker. To students across the USA, your Students for Boots message for this day, February 27th. Their sacrifice works when students work.
Yes.
To students across the USA, your Students for Boots message for this day, February 27th, that their sacrifice works when students work. Gerald Caldwell, thank you so much. Louis George Walker, gracious God and wonderful Wanda.